For several years, I've had the fantasy, the thought, the intention of putting together some kind of a stupa in the wooded lot next to my home. You've seen other aspects of things that I've done in the grounds outside my home, such as this Kuan Yin statue of Avalokiteshvara. And you've seen several of the stones that I had carved with various Buddha mantras. This stone, which sits beside the Avalokiteshvara statue that you were just looking at, of course, says Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha, which is the wonderful mantra at the end of the Heart Sutra that is spoken by Avalokiteshvara. And down below, where we'll go now, is another mantra stone that you can barely see that has the Nembutsu on it. We'll go down there now. The Nembutsu, of course, is Namo Amida Butsu. I take refuge in Amida Buddha, and is the primary chant of the Shin Buddhists, or Pure Land Buddhists. Again, said not to attain anything, but to express gratitude for the infinite compassion of the cosmic Buddha and Bodhisattvas. And sitting behind there is a sitting Buddha statue. Now, going over to the right is the path that you've seen different pictures of. I'm going to walk up that path a little bit, and I apologize for the fact that there is a covering of leaves on the path right now, but far in the distance you'll see where we are going to have a stupa. Just prior to getting to where the stupa will be set is an offshoot of the path, and if you can see under the tree to the right is a small cement statue of Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha. And there you see the path leading off into a central area. And in the far upper portion of the screen you can see another carved stone which has the verses at the end of the Diamond Sutra, and we'll get up there in a moment. Here we are at the end of the path, which is shown down at the bottom of the screen. And over to the left, where you see I've placed some pea gravel in order to level the ground a little bit, there's going to be a huge river rock setting right there, which will have conveniently an indented area which is going to be comfortable and convenient for sitting and just simply observing the stupa, which will be in this central area of this portion of the wooded lot. Before we get to that, we'll just do a circumambulation and see the other two carved stones that are here. Again, one being the advice from the Buddha at the end of the Diamond Sutra when asked how followers should remember and teach his wonderful Dharma. And he says that they should contemplate all things like a dream, an illusion, a bubble and a shadow, like a cloud, a dewdrop, and a flash of lightning. What profundity. And you can see that this is a very substantial stone. Continuing on our circumambulation around the stupa area, which of course is not yet a stupa, there's a little holly. And looking off to the left, by the way, you can see the woods with a couple of massive white pines. And off in this direction, you can see I've cleared off a path to this central area so that we can get those large rocks in. And then again, more wooded area off to the left. Continuing now on our circumambulation, you see the second major stone that's in this area, which is a reflection of the three refuges common to all Buddhists. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dhammam Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami. And again, in a massive stone that's probably 6 feet across and 8 or 10 inches thick. There's another nice holly off the corner of that carved stone, and there is the end of that path, which is actually an offshoot of the more substantial path. But in any case, coming back there, we can see where the stupa will be placed. And right now I have it marked off with logs, such that the logs around the perimeter will essentially mark the inner area of the stupa area, and then outside of that will be the area for walking around the stupa. And then those other two logs, one to the left and one to the right, are where one of the massive stones will be placed, hopefully, if they can get it there, into that location. And then another really high stone on top of that dark stone. And what you can see here is that right in the center, I've dug a hole, and I'm going to use that stone to mark the middle of the circle. But in that hole, I am going to place a copy of a book that has within it the Buddha's words. And then what I'll do is I'll put that stone on top of that. It'll be more or less flush with the earth, so that under the stupa will be the Buddha's words, the Dharma, the wonderful, wonderful Dharma. So this is the book that I intend to put in a airtight, waterproof bag and place in the dirt, in the hole underneath the stone stupa that I intend to erect out in the wooded area, and there will be a small stone placed on top of it, but again below the massive rock that it will be covered by. Now, I have no illusions that this book will maintain its integrity over the course of time, but the point is, it's a symbolic act to reflect the sacredness of that space where this stupa will be erected. Looking at the area from another angle, you can see the logs that mark the circle, as well as the two logs that mark the large bottom stone, which will be about 6 feet long and about 3 feet wide. I'm not sure how high, but then again there'll be another stone, a tall stone, North Carolina field stone, that sets on top of it. The one on the bottom is a form of black granite, and you can see the Diamond Sutra mantra or teaching over to the right, and that pea gravel that I've got set there for the big river rock over to the left. Coming out now onto this little offshoot of the path. Again, the path is pretty well covered right now with pine needles, which periodically I sweep off. But you maybe can see the flat stones that represent the path itself. And I'm going to walk up to where there is one more carved mantra stone. And that carved mantra stone is, of course, the mantra of the Nichiren sect, in particular Soka Gakkai, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I pay my highest regard to the Lotus Sutra. I thought about burying a copy of the Lotus Sutra under the stupa, but I thought I would just stick with the Pali Canon, and what I'll perhaps do down the road is have another small structure which encloses additional teachings. And by the way, I will have a plaque on the large stone that will be a quote from the Buddha from the Lotus Sutra, indicating that my Pure Land will never be destroyed. I'm going now to the path near to the home, and you can see, oh, one more mantra stone, which is a little harder to see because I didn't sweep it off this morning, that says Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, which is the most widespread mantra within Tibetan Buddhism. Many Tibetan stupas have prayer wheels or pieces of paper with this mantra written on it. And you can see what I have here is a series of rocks, as well as a path that connects up down below. And completes the circle. Namo Mita Boots, Namo Mita Boots, Namo Mita Boots.